on today's episode of The Real DJ Show.
The minute I posted something, like right behind me was about 15 really good photographers that we know who said, no, we don't hate photography. Photographers hate uplighting. No, we don't hate uplighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that every photographer absolutely loves uplighting and it's the bee's knees. What I am going to say
bee's knees? What are you, 90? You're the oldest 30-something-year-old person I've ever met in my
says
life.
great microphone for $400.
You're not getting a great mic. No, you're not getting a
$800 microphone. Better be gold-plated and do the introductions for you for $800.
I'm going to challenge you. It doesn't even matter. We have Batista's back here as a facade. Right? Like, I can't get past it.
Hey, this is Brian from PB Backdrops. We are here at Next, and you're listening to the Real DJ Show here at Mac. And if you're not using my backdrops, your backdrops suck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, so we're back for another episode, and I got the little green on because we're approaching St. Patty's Day. So
not sure when this is going to air, but I'm one day away from car bombs, and you cannot stop me tomorrow.
Yeah, so
let's go.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm Rich Cranston, as always, John Roach, and if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment away. And we are going on the West Coast again today.
The state of Washington.
We are for the big man himself, Mr. Ernie Lara.
Big Ern, what's up?
Hey, what's happening, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Good to see you again, bro.
So we're going to tell the story real quick before we get to your stuff. We were all out in Vegas last month together, and Chi-Town's doing their thing at the DJ Takeover, which we thought was an incredible show. And it turns out Big Ern had a big part in making that production happen. Yeah. We're like, who's that cool dude up there with her smoking a cigar? Like, that guy is cool as shit.
Rolling deep. He's walking around just like, absolutely. And he's garring it up.
I was drunk in the front row with Joe Bunn, and we had finished our presentation. I had no more responsibilities, so I was having a good time. But I was like, who's that guy? I want to be that guy. That guy's super cool. So that was you. So,
yeah, that was a blast being there at Vegas. Just being a part of the production part of it. It was a different world. Absolutely. I was there, before down on the floor, watching everybody entertain before, but being behind the scenes, definitely a whole nother level. Seeing, like we always see as entertainers, the stress, the pressure that comes into play. You think it's smooth transitions? Oh my goodness. No, we all heard about the laptop incident,
Yeah. Well,
she still crushed it. You still crushed it.
No, for sure. And like I said before, from the audience standpoint, enjoyed ourselves. Are we going to be seeing more of you next year?
Next year, yes. Actually, I'll be part of the Intuitive DJ conference, so I'll be speaking there.
Great.
Thankful for Bill Jacob to put me on for that, as well as the Harvest of Sound coming up this year too. I'll be at that. So speaking at that conference, and but I'll be at the other ones too. I'll be at Marquee. I'll make that announcement now. I'll be at Marquee, just having fun. I don't think I really want to work behind the scenes a whole lot. I want to be able to enjoy it with you guys too.
You do enjoy one.
All the smiles down there below was a blast. I tried to join a couple of times, but man, I needed to be up on the stage behind the scenes.
I feel that.
Well, we want to know more about you. Obviously, you're an intriguing character, and we wanted to know kind of just about like who you are. What's
the origin story of Big Ern Productions? How'd you get to what you're doing now?
Starting off about 23 years ago. So I joined shows from a buddy who DJ'd, who did karaoke, and he just asked me to join him. I worked at a company, big blue box company with the yellow tag.
You did not. I did too. For a decade.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was on the West Coast. Anyway. We'll talk off. But I also subjected myself to 10 years of the big yellow tag. Yeah. Maybe we might have run into each other. That's interesting. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. What was 831? Was the number of the store that I was at? 831.
So I was in Northern California for a few years, and then I became part of like the NSO team. So I was down on the West Coast opening stores. I opened Pasadena. I opened Calabasas. A couple other ones down there. Anyway, someday we'll have a beer and talk about our crazy life working for the Big Yellow Tag.
That's right. OG, right? You were an OG. You opened up stores and everything.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. It didn't. I couldn't survive living there. Spoiler alert. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. I'm like, oh shit.
No, it's quite all right. But yeah, that's where it stemmed from, though. I mean, because I worked for the audio and video department there, and a buddy of mine who was the general manager, he did a side job. So, but he DJ'd, he hosted karaoke, so it was one way for us to blow steam. And singing, I didn't know I had it in me, and so he asked me just to hang out and fill in a couple times. Then one time he got sick. And he calls me up and messages me and says, Ern, I'm dead sick. I can't work the show. And I know you know the show inside and out. So if you don't mind, can you go set it up?
Yeah.
Do the show for me. And just so I can get at least a week of rest or something, that I don't have to be there and get other people sick. So I was like, yeah, no problem. I was nervous as heck. I was like, are you sure you trust me with this? He's like, yeah, I trust you. You've seen me do it tons of times. You know, I've been there for, 2 years. And we worked together at that shop. So yeah, it was no thing, I thought. Went there, a small little bar, nothing huge, small little crowd. I tripped and stumbled. I think I got the show going about 15 minutes late, even though I showed up an hour early because I wanted to make sure things started well.
Yeah.
Tripped and stumbled over the MC, but I had fun with the guests. They were happy. They were like, Ern, you're so much fun. And I was like, oh, great. I'm glad you enjoy it. Next day, the owner of the company, the karaoke show, my buddy that I work with, he was like, so how did it go last night? I was like, hey, I had a blast. I had a lot of compliments from other people saying they had a great time too. So I'm glad I was able to fill in and help you out. He's like, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I also got some feedback from the bar owner. And I was like, oh, cool. He's like, yeah. They said to never have you back again because you suck.
Wow.
Oh.
Was not expecting that.
Right.
Okay.
Neither was I. But at the same time, I didn't get pissed off. I didn't get upset. You know, it was my first time doing it. It was on the spot, you know, less than 24 hours notice. What do you do? Right. You get asked to do something and you put yourself out there, you get thrown to the wolves. It's like you either fight or you get eaten. And I got eaten. But it was from one person's perspective. He goes, I did get compliments from other people saying that, yeah, you had a great personality, that you were approachable. And so it wasn't so much that it was only one-sided. It was like split.
Okay.
So, but coming from, you know, the venue itself, the bar owner themselves, they're king. They ultimately say, you know, what happens.
Yeah.
And he goes, so Ernie, I just want to say that you can't teach personality, but you can teach skill. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, you can't teach who you are to other people. You already gotta be that person to fill in those shoes. And he goes, so you're at a crossroad. You can either learn to do it. I can train you how to do it. Or if you want, you can just go your own way, you know, keep doing what you want to do at the Blue Box store, the Yellow Tag. And I was like, no, I'd like to help out. You know, next time I'll be better prepared because I feel bad for you knowing that this possibly could happen again. And so from that point, I went on to filling in for shows. I started doing other shows with other people. And then next thing you know, I started getting hit up to do my own shows.
Sure.
It evolved is what it did. And then that went from doing one show to 2 shows to 3 shows. And then I got asked that question, Ernie, can you DJ my wedding?
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a huge one. And in my mind, I'm kicking myself, you know, left and right going, no way you can do a wedding. There's no way. There's too much pressure. There's so much going on. And what I said to them, I looked at them, I was like, yeah, I can do your wedding.
Good for you.
Good answer. Well, look, I love hearing DJs like humble beginning stories. I mean, especially ones that's become a legend like you. It's fun to hear that, right? And so I think the reason why we do this show is to inspire people that are new to like, hey, this dude now who is a legend in our community, has the same humble beginnings that you could have had, right? A crash and burn on the first time out, ends a legend. So I think that's inspirational. But now you are a legend, and the big fish. And I don't know how big your pond is in Washington, how the market is, but what is your secret sauce? What's the one? Yeah, we're getting back to the name of the segment here. The one thing. So what's the one thing for Big Earn Productions? What sets you apart in your market? What's the secret sauce?
So the secret sauce for me is just being genuine, being who you are in the community. Try not to mimic what other people do, because why would I want to be like somebody else that's already doing what they're doing? It makes no sense. You're able to pick and choose little things, little chunks of knowledge, anything that you've learned along the way, but make it about you though when you're putting it out there. That's the key for me. So when I go into an event, I make sure that I show that I care what's happening at the event. That's the other thing, not only for the clients that book me, but also the people that I work with, the vendors. We're all part of a team. We're all part of the same goal, is to make sure that the event is successful. That right there alone. I mean, I think it's amazing. Like all the like the DJ's Vault, like Crate Hackers, any other forums or conferences that I've gone to, they talk about like getting on the vendors list, the golden vendors list of a venue or of a photographer. And I started doing that research, and I was like, okay, well, people that I work with, these photographers, these venues, and rather than going up to them and asking them, they would already have me on the vendors list, and I had no idea. It was all organic, and I'm thinking, okay, I believe I'm doing the right thing, but it wasn't like I had to bust my ass to do it, to get my name on the list. As far as that point, I already busted my ass at, previously 18 years of the grind of doing it on my own. And I didn't have the Vault. I didn't have, the Mike Walters, the Joe Buns, everybody else out there, even the new up and coming people that are just killing it. I didn't have that resource until like the last 6-7 years. That meant a lot to me. As far as being able to learn as I progressed, but finding those like-minded people, man, it took a long time. You were talking about the pond that I'm in. I started off in Yakima, Washington, which is probably about 99,000 people population-wise.
Okay,
it's fairly small.
Sure.
Yeah, but as far as the standard that it was set for DJing, I mean, we were in 3 figures is what the average here is. It's small. It's like people are fighting for the crumbs. And I didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to also subject myself into like going hundreds of miles away or thousands of miles away to go into a market that you can earn more in a bigger market. But now you're fighting for other business. The business doesn't so much get bigger. It's just that everybody now wants a chunk of the same size of pie is what happens.
Well, you're a legend now, man. I don't care how big the pond is where you're at now. Now you're a legend. So you did it.
Appreciate you, Ern. A couple things other than you sporting some dope threads, which is Robert Graham, by the way.
You look good.
I'm a huge fan. I wear them for my weddings. You should check them out. But how can people find you? What's going on with your socials?
So right now on my socials, I get hit up quite a bit on Instagram and on Facebook as well. You can find me at Bigger and Productions DJ on Instagram, and then on Facebook, you can find me at Bigger and Productions Mobile DJs. And the team is growing now, so
that's a really good brand, by the way.
If you're looking to jump on, let me know. Reach out.
I wish my brand was as cool as saying Bigger. That's so cool. I don't know, man. It's a good brand. All right, we're going to keep, we got a topic we're going to talk about here, but then we're going to bring him back for our BPM and setup wars segment, so hold for that. You're the man. We appreciate you. I would say, Rich,
I think it's
is
true.
it probably true, though, that the best photographers, the ones that we work with a lot that are good, that we end up in these circles with, they're more of a team player, right?
For sure. Definitely. And these are the ones we love working with. You know what I mean? I mean, we're all on the same team. We're all here to make sure that the couple's day is not only captured, but enjoyed in whatever that space is that you're working in. Y'all got to respect each other's professions and go for the common goal.
All right, so this next myth might be similar to that last piece. I think it's in the same vein, but I do hear it individually a lot that photographer, here's the myth number 2. Photographers are more concerned with their own timeline than the flow of the event.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like the timeline of getting things done, all the images they have. And look, they have a hard job, right? Let's say this, that the client has given them a to-do list of things. You got to get all these family groups or whatever. Is the photographer, do you think, here's the myth that DJs say, you care more about your timeline of getting stuff done than you do the flow of the event. Is that true? Is that myth true, do you think?
I don't. 9 times out of 10, you have your random rogue photographer, but 9 times out of 10, when I do my pre-wedding meet, hey, I'm Andre, I'm going to be the DJ. Here's my timeline that I have, and I go over the timeline with them. A lot of the times, most of the photographers that I work with are like, yeah, that's great. That's exactly what we have, and if they have something that they need to pull them for, they let me know then and there ahead of time so I can plan and prep for it. 9 times out of 10 photographers, their schedules match ours. And it's what we talk to our clients about getting them to do.
Now, Rich, I agree with him mostly for the photographers that we work with a lot. That's true. We've built some relationships. We know, frankly, in most cases, because I don't want to sound like a dick, but we're a premium vendor. We work with other premium vendors, and that's probably more true than not.
Yeah.
But you think that's common amongst all of them, or is that just like, is this teamwork thing he's talking about, is that a product of just the best, most experienced people?
Well, I think what Dre is experiencing is the likeliness of these great photographers that are willing to work on the team. That doesn't say that they still don't have a timeline that they were hired to do, right? But there's certain great photographers that will be able to work with their timeline and work with the DJ or the videographer, the venue, to get all of that done. Now, I worked with a photographer this past year. She was from out of state. She was only hired until 9 o'clock. She was staying in the hotel that we're at. She came from out of state, and we were just starting cake at 9 o'clock. She didn't even get any pictures of the dance floor. So I asked her, I said, how long are you here until 9 o'clock? I got to get going. I'm like, dude, we haven't even started dancing yet. So I went over and advocated with the couple. I'm like, dude, you've got to stay. And the couple said to me, oh yeah, we didn't know they had to keep them that long. Seriously? I mean, you're gonna shrimp out on this couple because you didn't educate them. I mean, that's craziness.
I think, I'm the host here, so I don't know if I get my 2 cents. I think that most good photographers that you'll run into want to be on the team of making sure the event goes well.
Yes.
There's very few.
You're going to get every once in a while the photographer that comes in just tries to step all over you, and it just doesn't end well for anybody.
Before I introduce myth number 3, have you guys seen that meme? It was popular a few years ago, and it's like a South Park guy, and he's like, let me just check my social media real quick, and I'm in a fight.
Yeah.
Right?
yes.
Probably around the election time, there was that meme, like, let me just check what's going on social media, and I'm in a fight.
Yes.
10 seconds later.
Yep.
All right, so I found myself in a rabbit hole of a social media fight this past week.
Which, by the way, if you've ever read John's rabbit holes on social media, it's quite effing entertaining.
I really try, for my own mental well-being, try to stay off of, like...
Because it's intelligent, and there's sarcasm all over the place.
Yeah. Anyway, I try not to do that as much as I can for my own. However,
you
myth
did
number
see
3.
one.
Myth number 3. And the myth is, and my rabbit hole was about this, photographers hate uplighting. Right? But look, hey, that is a myth that's out there that DJs somehow feel that photographers
hate uplighting.
So is that myth true, Dre, in your experience? And look, you're the guy who puts out uplighting, makes everybody's pretty colors happen. Do photographers hate uplighting in your experience?
No. In my experience, there are certain colors that photographers don't like, but any good photographer that we've worked with knows how to navigate that. Go. I'm not going to say that every photographer absolutely loves uplighting and it's the bee's knees. What I am going to say
bees
is...
knees? What are you, 90? You're the oldest 30-something-year-old person I've ever met in
Andre
my life.
says in Breakfast in Vegas, can I have a bear claw?
Golly.
I wanted a bear claw.
Bees knees.
You know, I have had photographers come up and ask me, hey, is there any way to turn off the uplights for a certain photo? Or, you know, they're trying to capture a certain type of shot. Can we, you know, turn off the uplights over here? And, you know, I'm a guy that likes to work with other guys and gals, and
we're talking the reds, the blues, the purples, the magentas.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, the
we
colors
as DJs, you gotta be able to respect that type of stuff. You can't turn the bride or the groom or the couple into Violet from Chocolate Factory, right? I mean, you got to be smart about that and educate your clients. Like you know, amber universally is a great color for type of stuff.
Richie, your experience, you work with a lot of photographers. Do they hate uplighting?
I've had one photographer ask me, like Dre just said, are these lights going to be on for this moment? Other than that, no. But I educate the clients. I mean, we're walking in. We're not doing rooms of blue. And if we are, it's dancing. You know what I mean?
I think what busts this myth is the rabbit hole that I was in this past week about that. The minute I posted something, like right behind me was about 15 really good photographers that we know who said, no, we don't hate photography. Shitty photographers hate uplighting. No, we don't hate uplighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, no, we don't hate uplighting. Only shitty photographers hate uplighting because they don't know how. I mean, look, I don't know the language here about ISO settings or whatever, but a photographer worth their salt knows how to change a setting to make the little room look cool so the uplighting looks cool. In fact, most of the photographers said that, hey, it adds interest and dimension.
It adds interest and dimension. Makes
their
photos look better.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely. All right, so myth busted on that. Boom. All right, last one. But this, look, I have felt this, but there's been moments, at least a couple of years, where like, I have had this thought. And the myth is photographers don't care about your dance floor.
Oh, boy.
Is this myth real, gentlemen?
Kick this off.
Well, okay. I think it's, of the ones we've talked about, it is the most true one so far.
Yes.
Look, photographers, my best friends that are photographers, they understand that once we get to the point where I'm starting that first dance song, it's my event from that point on, right? I think the best photographers we made great teamwork with, but I still find that there are people that I would consider good photographers who ask for the wackiest shit in the middle of your dance floor, right? Like, oh, hey, real quick, can you call all the people from whatever school out the middle of the dance floor and can I turn on the lights real quick? Like, there's no dynamics to the fact that, don't you understand that, like, that'd be like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an analogy, right?
Or the photographers that leave that light on the entire 2-3 hours.
Like, can we get this turned off? I mean, there are dynamics to success on a dance floor that they don't understand, and you know, you try to educate. But I for me, this is probably of the ones we've talked about, the one that probably is the most true, that they don't seem to understand the dynamics of, hey, it's not good to stop this thing once it's started.
Yes.
You find that to be true?
Absolutely. You know, this just happened to me a couple weeks ago, and you know, it's just, I'm all about getting crowd shots but legit stopping the party. Group photos, it was called, but I'm stopping the party to have like everybody in the house come over here and join us on a dance floor. I mean, you're on that roller coaster and you're going 70 miles an hour, and people are they're having fun, and you want me to stop that and try to restart it? I mean, it takes a while. I mean, it's an energy buzzkill.
It's like when somebody gives the bride and groom a good idea, like, hey, let's do this sparkle or exit an hour before you want the party to be over, and you think that doesn't have a chance of just everyone thinking that's the end and it's over. I mean, those are the kinds of things. So how do we combat that? So like, it's probably an education thing, right? Like, photographers assume that you're just going to flip the switch back and your dance floor is going to magically return.
Oh yeah, it's definitely.
How do we do that?
It's definitely an education piece, and it's also, I try to pick the photographer's brain in my pre-meeting. Do you have any shot? Are you taking them for sunset photos? Are you, do you need a group photo? When I try to pick their brains about when they need those, and try to talk them into it before we start the night. Okay, this shot is going to be really great. What do we say if we do this like right after dinner, before we cut the cake? that, suggest to them times to do it that aren't in that sweet 3-hour spot of, all right, this is my time to shine now.
But Rich, this is hard, right? Because I would assume sometimes what we're balancing here is we want to, of course, have every vendor that we work with leave there thinking those DJs are awesome, right? It's important for us.
It's very important
So it's
to us.
hard to kind of navigate trying to tell them that's a stupid idea, right? Like, can you please not do that? That would suck, because we don't want to be unhelpful, because we don't want to be labeled that, or, your DJ was a dick, or your DJ just didn't want to be on the team, whatever. So it's hard to navigate that.
Well, yeah, but I think what people see through is they see your actions. If they see you as a professional and what you do works and you do it very, very well, there's a level of trust that they're going to trust you. So, the way I navigated it through it, but you still have a job to do. The couple told you months ago, listen, I want a nonstop party that people are not going to forget. So they're still holding you to that responsibility. So, if you have to put up, listen, man, I can't do that. Andre brought up a great example of getting that in the pre-meeting and discussing that, and you develop your show based on what needs to be done. Of course, you got to get the sunset photo. You got to get a sunset photo every single wedding you're at. It's not news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, no matter what time of the year it is, if it's happening at 7:40 or 9 o'clock or 8:40, whatever it is, you got to build that into your program. But I still think you got to hold true to as far as what your responsibility is. You can't say yes to everything.
Well, it sounds like, for all these myths that we're talking about, the solution is communication with the other vendors.
And that's huge. And that's huge. We're all on the same team. That's the thing. The client doesn't see this type of stuff. They just see the post product. But if you start pissing vendors off, like weekend in and weekend out, no one's going to want to work with you.
Yeah. It's a difficult balance.
It is a difficult balance.
All right. So to put a bow on this, I think at the end of Mythbusters, one of my favorite shows ever. They always say, was the myth busted or is not, right? I would say that there's probably kernels of truth in all of these things. But it seems to me that the myth is busted on these with the photographers that you build relationships with. We're blessed that we have a group of vendors that we work with a lot. We find ourselves in the same circles and same scenarios. And those people, you've done your due diligence to be cool with, eventually get it like, hey, you start that first song, that's yours. We should be done. We're going to be here if you need us, but Rich, go do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that does happen. All right. So
That's
that
good.
was Mythbusters Real DJ Show version. The photography
That was good,
edition.
host.
We're going to do I think we still have Big Earn with us.
We still have him. Mick, is he still here? All right,
Still
sweet.
with us.
We'll bring
We're
it
going
on
to
here
do
for,
time for BPM.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bag.
All right. It's BPM time.
See, the funny thing is, it's near St. Patty's Day, so I'm going to wipe the Irishman up around his own holiday.
It is my holiday. You're lucky that today's St. Patrick's Day, because if I had 3 car bombs deep, I would not be as hospitable as I am right now. All right.
Yeah.
So it's BPM. It's everyone's favorite game show of DJ debates. Nikki's going to read a topic. Rich and I get 1 minute to debate that each. Big Earn, he's on the Zoom. He's going to tell us who's right. It's as simple as that.
That's it. Fire it up. I'm getting
All right,
the
Nikki.
old clock out.
Rich is getting his clock out that he never follows.
Oh,
His
okay.
time
I'm
does not
sorry.
exist for him
Captain
in his dojo.
Long-windedness.
Time does not exist in his dojo. All right, Nikki, topic number 1.
First one coming at you. For DJs, it's more important to look good than sound good. True or false?
Rich, you're the founder of the feast. You can go first.
Ooh, gosh, that's a dangerous question. No, I don't agree with that, because the proof is in the work that you do. So you can have a small setup. It could be, not really good. You're not spending a lot of money on gear or whatever. But if you sound amazing, if your transitions are great, if you're a great public speaker, you sound great in the microphone, your diction, your conversation, you're approachable, your personality, that stuff is going to follow. That is where it's at. No client I have ever worked with has asked me about my gear, unless I'm working for some sound engineer or something like that. And it's not a fact after the case. It's more about the performance and what you do with that equipment. And I'll stop at 45 seconds.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. However, I would counterpoint, because it's a pretty boring show if I don't counterpoint. All right. So I would say this, though, that seldomly do I think the audience I'm playing for most weddings are going to discern the difference between really good sound gear and really shit sound gear. Also, look, I think the clients who choose us as a premium vendor appreciate the talent of our DJs. I do think that. However, there are lots of weddings where the guests are not going to appreciate the cool DJ tricks as much as other DJs are going to appreciate them. I'm not saying they don't at all. I'm saying that it takes a DJ sometimes to more fully appreciate that. However, I do think that people walk in and see a setup. There's going to be something to be said for they're immediately going to label you as a DJ if your setup looks like And I don't mean better gear. I mean, you can dress up gear to look good. I'm just saying that you will be judged by what your setup looks like. Ernie, who's right?
All right, here we go. Don't hate me for this, but I'm going to agree with John. 1,000%.
1,000%. Okay.
I'm telling you. Well, I just had a client meeting with a planner. A planner set me up with this meeting with the client. And she asked what my setup looked like. She asked what vehicle I'm driving.
Huh.
I was shocked. I'm like, I thought it was just about the talent itself.
But is that happening every day?
I think, look, what we're learning here is that they may care about it more than we think.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yeah.
Look, ready? Subtitles here below.
Yeah.
I agree with Rich. But I appreciate that Ernie thought that my spin on it was good. Because, look, I do think, look, you are judged by what it looks like.
For sure. It's about a brand, right? I mean, there's a reason why, you have to, you look good and look the part. All of that is branding. And you brought up some great points for sure.
And look, I do this. We're judgmental. I mean, on the completely rare occasion that my wife still lets me go to an event where there's a DJ, because that's probably not going to happen because I'll be a dick.
But the first thing you're going to notice,
I will judge. Do I think this person who's about to DJ, who hasn't played a note yet, will I judge if they're good or not based on what their setup looks like? Probably.
And not for nothing though, we judged Ernie the first time we saw him. We didn't talk to you on stage. We saw you, milling around and looking good, fun and looking cool, and you looked the part.
I want to be that guy.
You're smoking a cigar. I'm like, that guy's cool, right?
I want to be that guy.
And now you start talking to him. So that's an image thing.
All right. So as predicted, Ernie says I'm right. Mickey, topic number 2.
This one's for our newer DJs in the audience. So advise a new DJ who has $1,600 to spend. Do you advise them to go with a $1,200 controller and a $400 microphone, or an $800 controller and an $800 microphone? Which are you recommending?
I'm going to tell them to buy an $800 controller and an $800 mic. Because I think, look, there's nothing that's going to pull you back from your opinion of if you're good or not than if your mic f***s up. Bleep me out there, Mickey. I'm feeling Irish today. So I would tell them to get a really good mic and get a pretty good controller. I would say, though, just to argue against myself, when you're using a premium controller, you will get better. I mean, I was the guy who always said, just give me the lightest, cheapest thing we got. Give me the Denon 6000. It's light, and give me that. I have become a better DJ since moving to better controllers. But for somebody new, I would say buy a really good mic and a really okay controller.
Well, proof pudding that John has had one too many car bombs in this episode.
Haven't had one.
Yeah. Listen, I own a pretty dope microphone that costs $400. I also have a pretty dope rack that costs $1,200, right? So I'm going to buy the DDJ 1000. I love the thing, right? I could do a lot of different things with it. I can flex my personality. I can communicate through my music on a really, really good controller. I spent more money on the controller than I did the microphone, but you could still get a great microphone for $400.
You're not getting a great mic. No, you're not getting
$800 microphone. Better be gold plated and do the introductions for you for $800.
I'm going to challenge you that there is no great microphone for $400.
We own like 16 of them.
Doesn't mean that. Okay, which mic are you taking out with you every week? You're taking out an SLXD with you, and that is not a $400 microphone. So I'm not hearing that bullshit, because you lose as much sleep as I do if I'm carrying a mic to an event. Ernie, who's right?
So I am a big proponent of making sure, yes, you have top quality equipment. If you had $1,600 cash in hand, I'm going to go with Mickey on this one. You've got to invest in a great quality controller, but I'm going to add to it. Get credit. Go to to somebody and get the other microphone, get the expensive microphone.
So
I'm going to lean with Mickey on this one.
It's rich, but that's cool.
That's good. So he agreed with me.
He agreed with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
All right. 1-1, Rich to John. I think he was giving you a mercy point.
I don't know about that.
It's a mercy point. There's no good $400 microphone. All right.
Rich, you got it.
Yeah.
There's no good $400 mic.
Of course there are.
All right, Mickey, topic number 3.
Last one for you. Best place to research music that's new or hot and works with crowds. DJ music pools, YouTube or Twitch, or is it still the old-fashioned method of going out to a club?
So for me, it's at events. It might be a club, right? You're not going to... I don't put much stock into what's most downloaded on these DJ pool sites, because that may not work for my market.
Different
right?
format.
Yeah, way different format. YouTube, I don't get much out of YouTube as far as what's popular for music. I find some great music and some different versions on there. That's cool, but I don't. For me, it's at the event, and if club was in the example, it would be club, but it's events for me.
So look, I think. My real number one choice here, like what do I know what's working, what's hot? My real number one choice wasn't on this list. And for me, it would be going out with one of you guys and hearing what you're doing differently that's working. Because sometimes you just get in a rut of your same wedding performance and you play the same stuff. I just need to hear somebody else to spark that. So
basically what I just said.
Right.
So,
I'm saying that wasn't a choice. You said go to a club.
I won this one.
You cheated.
Well, it's at the events. I didn't cheat.
The question said, can I pause? The question said, do you go to a club? And I'm saying, for me, my choice here isn't on the list. But if given those 3 choices, where the 3 choices are a record pool, YouTube or TikTok, or go to a club, my choice is going to have to be YouTube and TikTok. Because, look, I'm an older guy, right? I feel good about my DJ skills. I think I'm good, right? I think I've gotten to the point in my career where I can say, I feel confident that I'm good. However, where I would be lacking is what's absolutely super, super current that I just maybe has not hit my radar yet, or your radar yet, or Mickey's radar yet, or whatever. And TikTok has, and I hate to give it credit, has opened my mind to songs and the way they're being used, or a new remix of something like, oh, that's a cool old song that now is popular, done in a different way. It has opened my mind to those things, and I've implemented them into like our open house sets and stuff like that, and it works. And people have said, wow, that was hot. I think out of those 3 choices, I would say for me lately, that has been something that I've used that has been helpful. But the real choice wasn't on the list. Ernie, who's right?
What's Big EP saying?
I'm going to go with John on this one, because I agree that when you're out there, it's one thing. I'm going to lean harder, though, to the TikTok part.
Yeah.
TikTok is huge. It really is. I mean, I've blown up with school dances, Sweet 16 parties. I did on 48 hours notice a Bosnian Sweet 16.
Whoa.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I did that.
That sounds intimidating.
So before everything that's going down right now, their DJ couldn't come in.
Oh, no.
He was stuck back in Ukraine, couldn't get a flight out.
Oh,
and I got a call in 48 hours saying, Ern, can you fill in? And off TikTok, I slayed that birthday party because of TikTok.
Good for you.
Good deal.
Good for you.
It has been helpful.
stuff.
It's hard to admit that, because that thing is such a cesspool of garbage. I mean, TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Of every disaster.
I don't know about your kids.
I don't
kids
want
bring up with TikTok all the time.
No, it's not yet. They can't have it yet. Because there's way too much shit I want
Try
them to
having
see
4
yet.
daughters that are all on TikTok.
Well, my boys, the oldest one is 13. I just don't want him looking at milfy housewives or whatever, right? I'm not there yet with them.
There's no filter yet.
But the music, I mean, look, there are some really dope remixes that become popular, there. I mean, just yesterday, somebody turned me on to like this. It's Down with the Sickness with Spice Girls Wannabe. It was like, holy shit, that was so sick. And like, it was, being used for all kinds of inappropriate reasons on TikTok. But the mix was dope. And I'm like, wow, that's hot right now. It's nice to know that there are songs like Wannabe and these older songs that are becoming relatable to a younger generation if used in a certain way.
Yes.
And that's nice information.
And the other thing is flipping around to the older guests too is, they're seeing some younger songs that are cool because their kids are on TikTok listening to it, so they get acclimated. So it's not just hearing it on the radio, it's through.
Old things are cool again because of TikTok and the way it's being used. That's great information for us to know, okay, hey, look, Wannabe, yeah, I play that at weddings all the time, but if you use it now in a different way, you're being really contemporary, and that's great for everybody.
For sure.
TikTok, but yeah, it works. All right. Bleep that out, Mick. All right, so thank you, Ernie. You're wise beyond your years, because if I can count, if my math's right, that was 2-1 to me. Happy St. Patrick's Day to the Irishman. 1 for the bad guy. All right, cool. We're going to keep Ernie on for one more segment. It's one of our favorite segments.
Setup Wars, baby.
Setup Wars. Thank you to the brave people whose setups we're about to decimate. Mickey, give me that Setup Wars video.
By the way, we're always not kicking people's ass on setups.
Sorta.
We give constructive criticism. We give some, you should have done that.
My favorite sizzle reel, we take sometimes, we edit these things down to like a reel that we put out there. One of my favorite ones was like we're kicking somebody's ass, and we're like, remember when we said we weren't going to kick somebody's ass?
Yeah.
And we do anyway.
Yeah.
So it's Setup Wars. Dre, you want to come in for the Setup Wars too?
Sweet. All right. So if you're new to this, basically we have some submissions from across the globe for setups that you've submitted, and we're going to critique. And sometimes we're going to blow you up a little bit, but we have some outside input.
Big Ernest here. We got Andre, who's about to be on the couch.
He's going to be on the old casting couch.
So we're going to talk about it roundtable, and then we're all going to give it a score. All right, Mickey, give us picture number 1. Looks like a ceremony setup, but we'll evaluate it anyway.
What turned you on that? The ceremony?
Well, he's in the back of the ceremony.
Smart guy.
Captain Obvious. All right, it's a ceremony set. So perhaps this is not this DJ's full setup. So we'll take that with a grain of salt. But Rich, go ahead and start us on this. What do you think?
So I mean, a couple things. So like, this isn't the best of setups, but if this was a great DJ relating back to our BPM, that's awesome. You have a simple setup. I like the one stands with the base plates. There's some cable management. You get a couple strips of tape there. It almost looked like the cable was actually coming off of the stand, but it's actually taped behind the person there a little bit too. You're kind of all dressed up. It's like having a nice suit on with a shitty pair of sneakers. You have a nice like drape with. You got the truss, and then you got nothing. You got a silver rack. It loses it for me at the silver rack. That's a shitty pair of sneakers for me.
I don't know what you're talking. I mean, look, BPM is over, so we don't have to argue anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you're talking about with good cable management. There's literally a clothesline running between the speaker on the left and the dude's deck. I mean, no offense, but like, what are we playing? Jump rope here?
There's cable.
Limbo.
No, that's tape on the floor. That's on the floor.
It's an optical illusion.
Wow, that's
what
an optical
I was
illusion.
trying to explain that.
It looks
It looks like someone's about to do a zip line from the top of that speaker down.
I originally thought that, but
well, here's the things I think are good. Look, I
there.
like this new idea of getting rid of tripods on speakers. It's a much cleaner look. Obviously, there's a lot of different brands that are making this now with a base plate and a gas pole or something for the speaker. I love that look. It's way cleaner for sure. A truss sock that's like got like rolls in it to me looks like, a sock that's lost its elastic, right? Bunched up near the top, so it's at least tight. But we are kicking this person's ass over a ceremony, which needs to be a fast setup. So like, hey, there's an unobtrusive podium. You put your rack on top of it. You knock the ceremony out. I mean, it's okay. It's pretty good. Dre?
If this is truly, in fact, his ceremony, then it's good enough. But I agree with John. The wrinkles in the truss would drive me absolutely batty.
Yeah, my OCD's all freaking out.
How about putting like a black tablecloth over the rack?
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, there's plenty of ways to dress it up, but not beating this guy up too bad.
Or girl.
This person. Maybe they've got a limited window of time to tear this down before they have to.
Who knows what's up?
Yeah. So it's not the cleanest thing I've ever seen, but it's functional.
Big Ern, what do you think about this?
I just have an issue with. I'm glad that they did the cable management as much as they could. But if you're trying to stand out in the back of the crowd at a ceremony, this is not the way to do it. If anything, if you're going to be like a sound guy for a ceremony, tuck it up against that wall.
Yeah,
put it right against right there.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, definitely have the cables, but you're not trying to be the center of attention by dressing up this kind of setup? Do you really want people to turn around, look at you like, oh, he's got plenty of chairs to sit down back there? That's great.
There's a lot of chairs
At the same,
That's a great
at the same
point of
time,
view,
you know, it's like, are you trying to blast everybody back there? You want to put the people that are hard of hearing in the back seat and the people that can hear just fine up front. Looking at this, I would have never in 1,000 years want to be up front because I don't have to be that close to the speakers, you know, both sets of speakers there. So, I mean, for what they're doing here, I get it. They're trying to dress up, trying to be mobile, small, compact for a ceremony. You're only going to be there for 15 minutes, maybe at the most. Put it aside. If you're going to be the sound guy, be a board guy. Tuck it up against a wall or something.
There you go.
I love that wood wall right there. I would have put it right up against that.
That's a good call.
Great.
You wouldn't need cable management across the floor at all if you're doing that spot.
You need to be seen.
Dre, give that thing a score, 0 to 10, in your wacky Dewey decimal point system you
Can I
always
have a bear
use.
claw?
4.8 in an apple juice.
The Dewey decimal system is back.
Yeah.
All right, 4.8 for Andre.
4 for me.
Yeah, it's a 5. I mean, it maybe be even better. 5.5 because they've made some attempts here, but there's some big misses. Big Earn, what do you think?
I'll give them a 6 because I can see that the effort that they put in behind it. It just didn't need to be like a focal point. It didn't need to be like, look back there. Oh, that's the DJ. Just be a sound guy at this point.
I love Ern's point of view on that one.
Very good. Yeah. And by the way, this is for
smart.
Let me come closer. This is for entertainment purposes only. So good job, whoever you are. All right, Nikki. Setup number 2.
All right, let's let our guests start off with this one.
All right, Big Earn, you get to start.
I'm hypnotized right now. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know which pattern to focus on more, the carpet, the facade, or the wall, or the curtains.
Is there slot machines to the right here?
There's so much going on just with that alone. Wow, the white cable coming down the truss, the light. Wow, that just everything's
Good
popping right now to me on this.
And not in a good way.
And then now I just noticed the fog machine at the bottom too. Wow. There is just a lot. I could tell that they wanted to bring more than so much orange. I'm okay. Yes. I like that they put everything tight and compact. Man, that's a lot of speakers for one area to come out. That is a lot of sound. If you really think about it, those RCFs are just going to rock the house from one end to the other.
Evox 12s.
But I mean, overall, at least, you know, behind all the cables or whatever, if it's clean or not, it doesn't matter at this point.
Sure.
I think they spent a good penny on that facade.
Yeah, I think that all the rest of the stuff we're talking about, like, doesn't even matter. We have Batista's back here as a facade. Right? Like, I can't
I've never been more focused on a facade in my entire life.
I mean, they've got, I can't even talk. I can't even look at anything else. Because look, they have great speakers. It's clean.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I really am. If this is what it looks like in the inside of a TIE fighter looking out, I would imagine this is what it looks like.
It looks like a TIE fighter pilot on acid. This is what you're going to see. Holy God.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was a nightclub that had an Aztec theme, all power to you.
It might be the Mohegan Sun Casino.
Sure it is. But for a mobile DJ to invest in that kind of thing, I just think it's so specific. It's like those decorator shows you watch on HGTV. You're trying to sell a house. Don't make it so style specific that you can't ever be someplace else. But I can't even look at it. It's crazy. Look, it's great gear. They've done smart setup things. The speakers are probably a little close together, like Ern pointed out. You have a facade, great idea. But for the love of all things holy, why would you pick that facade?
Seriously.
I can't get past it.
There's not be anything I say that's going to be even more funnier or intelligent than what you guys have mentioned, but good idea on the RCFs. I'm looking at one right now. Man, you are going to be in a bass tunnel in that corner of the room. Holy
Hopefully those aren't real walls behind them. Hopefully that's just drape because you're going to go deaf. Your feelings are going to come
right
up.
there in our shop. I mean,
he's going to straighten out those swirls on the carpet with his speaker.
But why? That's a lot of money right there. I mean, that's
that
probably
facade
about
costs
8 G's worth of equipment. I'm not sure what type of controllers that's being used. And we should do another segment of why hotels and venues pick shitty carpets.
There's supposedly a scientific reason. All right, Dre,
let's rate this.
Dre, what do you think for us?
I got nothing. I legitimately am speechless, and everything I would have said, you all already said. The only thing that I'm going to add is, for the love of God, change the color of your lights.
It looks like literally someone did a close-up of your arm and put it on a fucking facade.
I'm looking at it right. It looks like...
I love tattoos, but...
Oh, hey, maybe it's a tattoo convention.
Mickey, can we get a picture of Dave Batista just so everyone knows what's going on?
Everyone, we're DJs. We all know dorky shit like DJs tattoos. Yeah. All right. So we're going to rate this thing. I mean, look, if you could literally take a Photoshop eraser and like make that black, this would be one of the better ones ever.
For sure.
I mean, it would be great.
Definitely.
But I can't get past the
Aztec and incense.
Holy God.
I'm literally tracking
like,
my finger right now to find the center, to the map way to get to the center. You know,
it's like the maze in Harry Potter. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so it's oh man, I don't know how to rate. How do you score the insanity? Because otherwise, it's a very good setup.
Well, you score what you like.
I would have given it a 7 or an 8
you don't.
if it was black, but because of that insanity, then it's like a 4.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a 5.
Ern.
I think it's a wonderful setup. Wrong venue is what I'm at right now.
Be
so
flexible in your environment. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd be terrified. I'd be terrified of the venue where this was right.
Seriously. Well, yeah. And one thing that Ern said when he was evaluating is,
Chinese
oh my
buffet.
gosh, like you're bringing all this stuff. Stop emptying your garage at every single venue you're in, right? You've got to pick and choose what's appropriate. It's a 3 for me. That's only because of the speakers, and you did a facade.
Yeah.
You lost 7 points and everything else.
It could be a Chinese buffet.
I'll give it a 5. The reason why I'll give it a 5 is because, I could tell that they, in their mind, this is my setup. They're branding themselves, I hope, for this style. But don't make it about you at your events. Make it about the right setting, the right type of event. I mean, if this is for a wedding, dear God, change it up.
Or the
Holy
Asian
cow.
buffet, like Ray said.
Yeah, it's insane.
All right, 3 and final.
Here we go, Mick.
Lay it on us, Mickey. Whoa, it's a low-scoring day.
Mick, are you literally going for, can I find the worst one ever? The only one that I've seen are worse than this is like the one where the dude is like sitting in a folding chair and
effort
so
to
it's the
cover
worst
the
one ever.
cables with
Is this like the Hall of
bag.
Shame? You got the glowing Walmart battery-powered
Speakers
on speakers, and
Speakers on speakers.
Hey, I'm the best DJ ever. My speaker stands are speakers, mother. I got speakers on speakers.
Yeah. Dre.
I got my subs on top of my loudspeakers. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rate this first at a 0.2.
You're just gonna give it a 0.2 now.
Yeah, just because speakers on top of speakers, no speaker stands, no cable management, no facade, no even black linen, to cover everything up. He got a 0.2 for showing up.
I'm hoping that this is a child. Like, I'm hoping that this is some kid. I'm hoping it's some middle school, high school kid who's like, they had no budget for their school dance. So the kid's like, hey, Dad, can I borrow $200 so I can be the DJ for the school dance? The only thing that makes me feel like it might not be is that, like, okay, they have whatever that is, some kind of gig bar thing up there. So it's somebody who, I'm hoping that it's some child. If this is an actual professional, then shame on them.
I think it's an older DJ. I think it's an older.
You think it's some old guy?
We're
all telling stories in our head right now who this person is. My hope that the narrative I'm going with, this was a middle schooler who borrowed some money, whatever. So it's obviously it's horrible. I'm not. Is it the worst one ever? Probably.
Yeah. For me, it is.
It probably is the worst one ever. It's
you can't use speakers as speaker stands.
If the kid is 13, he gets a 2. If it's an adult, it's a 0.5.
Yeah. Ernie?
So with my experience of seeing like local school dances, because I'm assuming this is a school dance with the gym
I think so.
and the gym mats in the background.
Or very
and I agree. Yeah, if it's a teenager, which I'm doubting it's a teenager because I don't know any of the teenagers at the school dances that I've done or seen have those light up speakers. Not one kid has ever said, I want the speakers that has the lights in it. So I'm thinking that this is an adult from this. If I'm wrong, I'll eat my own shoe. But
I'd love to know the story.
yeah, it's man, the lights don't even match on the speakers. They're not even synced.
Mickey's just with us today.
Yeah, terrible cable management. I mean, you know that's gonna one step to the left or right, and it's all gonna come apart. If it's an adult, I give it a 1. I mean, just showing up, great. That's where you got the 1. He just showed up.
Good job on the 1.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. I think this is an adult. There's a sticker on the laptop. Maybe it's a branding thing. You know, the variety of lights. I don't think that's coming from a juvenile mind. I think this is an adult. I think
that's an iPad. I think that's an iPad on some Wish.com iPad stand.
Oh, you're right. That is an iPad.
Yeah,
Is that a school logo on the
iPad?
iPad?
Hand out a 0. I'll give it a 1 just for showing up. That's at least you're gonna do something. I'll take Ernie's advice on that one. That was good. Showing up 1. Otherwise, you were getting
So what
0.
an unfulfilling episode of Setup Wars. Where they're all trash.
Yeah,
they were all
nothing
trash.
went over 5 for me.
No, because now we know what's coming. I don't know. It'd feel like a trophy, real good one. All right, one more.
You got another one? You got
All right,
another one.
We
Let's
got
do
one more. Can't
Yeah,
leave
let's
on
do
this.
one more. Not one.
Ooh,
Okay.
White. Oh yeah. Here we go.
Here
we go.
Not only is it a good one, it's a polarizing good one.
But
right.
there's white.
I'll
All right.
go last.
Yeah, let's. Ernie,
All right.
why don't you kick it
Ernie,
off?
you go
buddy?
first on this one.
All right. So lots going on here. I love the similar to the Toad booth is what it looks like. The multiple laptop stands. That's interesting. The laptop stands having 2 of them. The only thing that I see, I like the cable management. With those EVs though, they don't need to be angled like that. If you're trying to
Agreed.
get coverage, just spread them out. That's what they're made for. They're made for just having full coverage. That 120-degree angle top on it.
Just keep them.
Yeah,
just
don't
keep
have-
them
don't have your
facing the
EVs
crowd,
close.
right?
Yeah.
How
separate 'em.
far would you spread yours out from your stand?
Yeah, I probably go about anywhere from 10 to 12 feet away from me.
Okay.
Separated wise, it's good separation and it's clean sound. And you don't need them that close at all. I mean, you may as well just have one right behind you.
Good point.
Dre?
I agree with everything that Ernie said. I like it.
He's smart.
Yeah, he is. He's extremely smart. He knows his shite. I like it because it's slender and sleek.
Did you say slender?
It's I got nothing to pick out how to.
like a butt coming up.
Is there a butt?
There is no butt. There's the only thing that I'm not a big fan of is the front of the facade, the verbiage. You
I think
know,
it's a screen.
putting that stuff on there, whether it's a screen
That's a TV.
or they printed it.
It's a screen, yeah.
You know, that to me is not my cup of tea. But I mean, if that's what the client wanted,
Almond milk,
you know,
bear claws.
Go ahead. I'm going last.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, as far as, I mean, I love the dual laptop stand, putting the the show effects up on the totems. We started doing that a couple years ago, and we've seen a couple of setups do that now. So that is very self-validating that we're, I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Don't cant your speakers. I don't know why that's happening. I love it. It's hot.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know who this is. And I know they're a dope. I'm pretty sure this is Chaos. He has kind of a signature look. I'm pretty sure it's Chaos. And I know he is crazy dope as a DJ. I'm pretty sure this is him. So here's what I would say. I just don't, and you could just rewind every episode of Setup Wars ever. I just don't know the DJ's infatuation with everything being white. I mean, okay, it's wedding, so it's white. But look, we walk into a showroom at MEX or wherever and show us white gear, and we're going to be flies on shit on that. Give me everything white. I don't know why DJs we do that, but we
You're
love
funny today.
we
dude.
love white stuff. I don't know why, but for me, you take this exact same setup and you made everything black, so he disappeared, and it wasn't like, "Hi, look at me on the DJ." I would like it better. Now, obviously, this is the best one. I'm pretty sure I know who this is. I know they're incredibly dope.
Yeah.
So, I think it's great. So for me, we'll just go ahead and score because our new kid's here. Hey, new kid. Austin, the new kid's here. we're gonna roast him in a second. Just kidding. But it's obviously great. I'm gonna give this thing a 9. It'd be a 9.5 or 10 for me if it was black. But I know the DJ. He's dope.
Yeah. Ernie, what do you think, bro?
I also give it a 9 too, because that it's a clean look, absolutely clean. I mean, for me, that's the one thing is just spreading out those speakers. facing forward. I love the booth. I love that it's color coordinated, all white. If there was a way to paint those housings as far as the light fixtures on top, white, perfect. It would have been absolutely perfect.
Dre?
I'm going to give this guy 9. I mean, it's clean. It's sleek, slender, pretty. I like it.
Good
Cranston's
stuff.
giving it 11 right now.
No,
'Cause you love white
the
shit.
10 is my 9, so I give it an 8.5. I mean, it's real good. I love it. I would totally work in front of that.
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
weekend.
All right, so that was Setup Wars with Big Earn.
Thank you for validating, Mickey. And Earn, appreciate it, man. That was a lot of good, insightful, technologically sound
Dare
advice.
I say, one of the best guests ever.
For sure.
really
Gotta
good.
have
Good.
him on.
Oh,
Big Earn,
wow,
you're the man.
thank you.
All right, we're gonna wrap up that show. Earn, don't leave the meeting just yet. We have some comments for after the broadcast, but that's a good show, man.
It's St. Patty's Day. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll let you win.
Lego.
Very good. Everybody, hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave
Ring
the
the
comments
bell.
below.
All right, that's it for us. Another episode of The Real DJ Show is in the books. We want you along every time, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the little bell so you get notifications of all of our new content. We know you're DJs and have a lot to say, so jump in the comment section to join the debate. If you have content suggestions or you want your DJ company featured on The One Thing, email us at TheRealDJShow@rochesterdj.com. Lastly, if you're sick enough that you want to take the audio of this with you wherever you go, you can find the audio everywhere quality podcasts are found. All right, that's it for us. Show's over, bitches.